Alright, this video has no other purpose except to explain to you what you should see on one of these radios up on eBay before you buy it. A lot of them have been bodged. Okay, I'm going to explain bodged to you. Okay, the first section you want to look at on any of these BC348s is these little flaps. See them? They're cute. Okay, these flaps cover up the telephone and the headphone jacks. They're actually a unit that you can undo the nut from the quarter-inch plug socket for headphones, and these will come off. And you'll see these missing because these break. So the guy on eBay is going to steal those, and he's going to sell you a set or radio that doesn't have these because he needs these to make one of his puppies sell, his high-end puppies. Okay, what you're going to get is the low end where he's robbed stuff off. All right, now these will be missing. Also, here's what a real knob looks like. Most of the knobs look like this. They're aluminum. Okay, very simple aluminum knob. Now when you get the radio, put the knob straight up and down and put a drop of penetrating oil through this hole so it gets on that set screw. Okay, and leave it there overnight. So if you ever need to take the knob off the radio, you might be able to get it off. Now it uses a standard Allen key. Okay, and you'll get some. I got them. I've had 3 of these radios, and you'll get a radio where someone didn't put penetrating oil on it, and if that doesn't work, you got to use heat. I use a heat gun like this type. Okay, so what you're going to get on eBay is the crap. The dealer. Look at how many things he sold. He's not stupid. Okay, he's going to steal the best looking ones of these, and he's going to sell you ones that are all chipped up and are showing basically the aluminum. All right, now if he really doesn't like you, he's going to load the radio up with these. These are called chicken heads, hen heads, whatever you want to call them. They're old school knobs, but he'll put a few of them on the radio so he can get the better looking ones of these so he can create a puppy. All right, a puppy goes for $500. Now, some ham guys have made the radio even worse. Over on this side here, here's your antenna plugs. You press these down, ground, and you stick your wire in. Okay, there's a couple different styles. Here's a different style over here. All right, this one's a little bit different style, but what you'll see, instead of, let me get this in the frame, these guys, and this isn't broken, this is how it looks. Sometimes you will they'll break this plastic piece off and they'll leave it. So you buy the radio, you get it back, you got it broken. How are you gonna get that part? Well, these dealers make a puppy unit by swapping out and giving you the broken one. Now this is a BNC connector. All right. It's one of those where you put the plug in and turn it. You'll see one, a ham will have drilled this antenna wire out, antenna jack, and he's put a BNC. So now the radio is not original. There's no way you can make it original. If you don't care about that, fine. You may also see one of those CB type antenna jacks for a PL259 plug. I believe that's the number. All right. Up in here, another place to look will be up here. This knob up here is to turn the brightness of the display. This will be just a hole sitting there. They've taken this out. All right, it's on a puppy unit, or the ham guy took it out and he was thinking about putting an SWR meter, not a signal strength meter up in here, but he didn't do it. There are booklets that tell you how to modify these radios, and basically they're botched. Okay, now this radio I've been overlooking. This is my museum piece one, and this has been restored by somebody at some point The lettering has been redone. They've used black in the background. You can see it now that I've had it a few months. You can start to see the colors are starting to change. Okay, so this has been restored at some point. All right, even this panel has been repainted. All right, so anything you find on eBay, the better you get at understanding these radios and what has been done to them, the quicker you realize I'm going to pass on that one. Now, for your first one, it really won't matter, because will you follow up? Will you build the power supply? Will you recap it? Okay, and the insides of these radios are totally different on two different ones. Now this is the older model. All right, let me look. Yeah, okay. If we tilt this back and get my light down in there, here's the board you're going to have to recap all the way down, all the way around. Let me make sure I'm in the frame. You got to recap all these caps. All right. Now, on the more modern one, when you look inside the same place, it looks totally different. Let me tip this up. Okay. The radio has less, the capacitors are a totally different configuration. Let me double check that in the frame now. This is getting a little precarious here. Okay, that's good enough. See, it's different. All right. Now, this BFO knob over here runs a cable that goes down into the BFO unit. On this model, the BFO is sitting right in here. All right, the BFO BFO coil. Now, the AVC switch knob is very unique. Let me make sure I got this good light on that. Now, if you want the radio to be original, this is what it's going to have to look like. Here it is here. From AVC position, which is automatic volume control. Then when you're in sideband, you go to manual volume position. Oh, my throat, my voice is going. Good. This is the crystal in and out. This is the BFO on and off. All right, notice the knobs, what they look like. Now, on this model, you will see a regular on-off switch. Okay? But it's the same knob for the AVC and manual volume control. And it's got these little flop guys. Okay? These will be missing. They steal them. They get broken. So they steal it off a unit and they send you one that just has the 1/4-inch jack sitting in there. Because they're now repainted and put over onto a unit they're hoping to get $500 for. And these spinner knobs. Okay, these spinner knobs, they will have some other type of knob on it. Sometimes it's the ham guy doesn't like the knob, but you don't have an original radio. And where are you going to get that knob from? All right, that's why I just want to show you what you're looking for, because you go up on eBay, almost all the radios on eBay have been bodged or picked over by a dealer. Okay. Bodged by a ham, picked over by a dealer. They're very sneaky guys. And I've had 3 radios so far, and I told you one had a mouse nest in it. Let me flip this up. All right, I showed you the inside. Here, I'll show you again. There's the power supply I built. All right, and these tubes do not have caps on them. Let me make sure they're in the frame. These caps don't have the thing. This is the newer model. This is an economy model. This only has 3 IF cans. The older model, which is over here, has 4 IF cans, okay? But after the war was going along, they made a cheaper model, okay? That's radio itself. Anytime, even Philco, as time goes on, they start taking stuff out. They start going with what they need rather than what they think they need, okay? Now this radio here, as you can see, I just trapped my hand. The tubes have caps on them with a wire, and this is not a plate, this is a grid. And same with this one, and then these here. All right, now I notice this dynamotor can be $120. Now this guy, a guy sold me this radio, shipping and everything, $300. And I thought he was cheating me, but he wasn't. But if you now look at the paint job on it, I don't know if he pulled that shenanigans or that's how he got them. He claimed he found 3 of them in storage, and he sent me one of the better ones. But you can clearly see that this has been through by painting, and that it's been refurbished. And it is very nice inside. It's very clean. I want to tell you about that. Remember I told you on one of them, there needs to be a jumper between 2 and 6 on that back Jones plug. Well, this unit here had the jumper. Somebody added the jumper on the back of the Jones plug, and it says right in the manual, don't put a jumper there. Okay, put it on the outside so somebody will see it, but they didn't. And I mentioned the whole story about that jumper. I troubleshot the radio, it would be this radio, right to that thing, and it didn't have the jumper. And then some guy, I tell honestly what I did. You didn't know that was there? I thought you were so great with radio, blah, 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 blah. I deleted his message, but he was one of the ones that aggravated me, and I took a lot of videos down. What it is it's on one page, and it's a diagram of the harness that goes between the transmitter and the receiver, and in a little paragraph on that page, it explains the jumper. If you just want the receiver to receive without a transmitter, then you're going to have to add that jumper. And it tells you don't solder on the back of the plug, and this one has that. Okay, but I just wanted you to understand, when you're looking at them on eBay, it's very hard to figure out what's wrong. Now this one, I went through all the pictures real quick. I didn't realize it was missing the tubes. So it was sort of a bargain, okay? I really like these radios, okay? And I know the guy out there, oh, they're barn door wide. You can't use them nowadays. You know, oh, you got one of those. Yeah, this is a well, let me get the light on this thing. This is a BC453, and it's set up for Q-Fiber. You take, the light wanted to jump to its death. You take the output of the IF, and you feed it into here, and then it gets super narrow, okay? The output of the radio for code or for sideband gets real narrow. And they call it a Q-Fiber rig. You can make a separate Q-Fiber rig. If you go see some of my videos on the command radios, you'll see I created my own Q-Fiber rig by making a plug-in module, and you don't even affect the radio. See, my whole game is I leave the radio original. You know, like this thing has a power supply in there. Other people, they cut the wires, the terminals off. No, when you undo 4 bolts, and there's a terminal strip on the power supply, you undo those wires, you undo the screws, that thing comes out of there, and the radio is whole again. It's not been bodged or anything. It's original. And the same with this guy. But you know, I've seen the paint is starting to flake on these knobs after I've had it a while. But somebody somewhere basically cleaned this radio up so they could get more money. They didn't get a hell of a lot of money. But I want to tell you, when these radios came out, surplus, they were, let me look, I have it written down. They were $69.50, which a poor person coming out of high school, that would be a week's pay. And then they went up, they jumped up. They were selling so good, they jumped them up to $149.50. Okay? So if you use the inflation meter, one of these in mint condition, in the crate, would be $800. Okay? And there are guys on the different conferences, they'll mention they got one of these radios still in the crate. Well, it has to be recapped. You need a power supply for it. All right? And then whatever else might be wrong with it. But they brag. They like to brag. Now, a lot of videos, the guy's, I'm not kidding you, the guy's actually doing this. Oh, no, he's massaging the radio. I mess up the brightness. I just love my great equipment that I got. Look at how the brightness changes. You just change the angle. Ooh. Yeah, I went looking at BC348 videos, and I said, all right, let me tell them what I've learned. I've told you about that connector that's got to be on the back. All right? I've told you what the knob should look like. You know, aluminum. All right, here it is, aluminum. Oh, and when you take this knob off, yeah, my fingernails are long again. when you take this knob off, you will have a spider's nest inside. And then you want to drop a drop of penetrating oil down there. Leave the knob straight up and down overnight, and then drop a drop of penetrating oil into the set screw. One drop, and that'll make it possible for you to get this knob off. Okay? And you might have to use some heat. And use a brand new Allen key. Don't use an old worn out one. Because I told, if you see one of my last videos, I had to cut a knob off because somebody tried to take the knob off and they rounded over the inside of the set screw. All right, I tried everything and I ended up cutting it off. But that's what you get on eBay. You get the dealers move knobs around. They paint things here and there, and it's all about making money. And go look at what you're seeing on eBay. Get used to the models that are sitting up there, the units that are sitting up there. And you'll see they sit there for a long time because they botched. What you can see in the pictures is only half of what's wrong with that radio. You know, that's why at least if you buy a radio that's in mint condition, the face and everything, when you go to resell it, even if you don't get it working, you're going to get more money than if you buy one that's been bodged. And there's so many ways that they bodge these poor things. Okay, and then there's a like a 10-month article on monitoring times. You'll find it's a PDF if you go looking for it. And the guy buys one on eBay, and he says all the things he bumped into, how the previous owner cut up some wires to put the power supply in, and all different things they do to it. And there actually are videos where the guy's telling you he's going to put a signal meter in the radio. And then go watch the videos. Some of them are hilarious because the guy is clueless. And I always feel like going down in the comments section and leaving that guy one of the comments that I get, but I don't do that to the guy. The guy thinks what he did is great. Now I want to also tell you some of the screws in here are going to be kind of wonky too. They don't look like they match. They look like they came off a different unit. Like this one's rusted more than it should be compared to the other one. So that's come off of another radio. So what they do is take all these pieces and then they piece a radio together and then they put it on eBay, they take some pictures, and then you're looking at it. And that, believe me, after a while, you get good at looking at and spotting the crap. But that's only what you spot. And like I said, I got a little bit lazy. I'm jumping between buy it nows, and I didn't notice that the tubes are missing. Well, I think that's it. All right, that's it.